Hello, everyone, and welcome to the latest and greatest episode of the Lowbot Podcast. I'm Tyler.
I'm Josh.
We are back at the Bachelor Pad. We are back at the Trap House. We are back at the
Crackden.
Crackden.
Music to my ears, man.
Absolutely.
Music. I love it. How you been?
I've been good. I'm busy, but good. How about you?
Got a nice haircut. And I've got to mention it for the pod. I've mentioned it like 5 times already. You look good. You look good. For those that aren't watching the video right now.
Check in. I got lined up by the boys at Far From.
Okay,
Far From Barbers down at Port Adelaide.
I've not seen it before.
100% come through.
Is it like hidden or?
No, it's a new place. They're on like the main Port Adelaide street.
Okay. There was that hairdresser place which was on, I don't know what it's called. You kind of know where Days Road is, and you got like 127 Days, and you got the TAFE.
Yep.
I think it was like West Side Pizza, but then they also had a barber attached to it.
Yeah.
Was that legit?
I don't know.
That didn't feel legit.
It felt weird
all.
because it was attached to a pizza spot, right?
Yeah, like it's the same damn building. They just split it in two.
No, look, I get you. I have no clue. But if you're in the western suburbs area, or if you're looking for a new barber, head down to Far From. They're at Port Adelaide, great guys. A bunch of the guys from a place called The Spot, which was also at Port Adelaide, ran a bunch of community events. If you've been there, you know a bunch of the guys. But yeah, can't recommend enough. Great dudes.
I love that. The Spot.
The Spot, it used to be called The Spot.
Friday night, I'm just going to the Spot.
Yeah. It's like how what's the shop near my house called?
The Local?
The Local.
The Local.
It's not actually called The Local, but I call it The Local.
Look, the Locals refer to it as The Local.
100%.
You know,
and
you
just
love
like
that
that's
shit.
The Spot.
Hell yeah.
Most of the guys from The Spot are now working at Far From with Jude, who's the homie. So yeah, if you want, like Adam, if you're watching this, I'll tell you whenever you get here, but head down to Far From to get your hair cut.
There's a shout out for the week.
100%.
He says every week we mention his name.
Yeah, we do. We do. We got it because he refuses to come back on. Because like that one episode he was on back in the audio only days was great.
Oh, that was the Cavs episode, right? Yeah. I love that shit.
That was good. But yeah, how you been?
Being really busy.
Yeah.
I did not sleep much, as you're very well aware. Not that I kept him up by like
stupid times of the day.
Yeah, I just kept texting the man. So what happened was I found all of my old mobile phones. Mm-hmm. All of them.
I don't know how or why you keep.
I had 4 of them. I don't know. It's just like I always think there's gonna be shit on here.
There's sensitive information.
Not sensitive information, but there's gonna be like photos and music and notes and stuff, which is I'm gonna forget is on there and I'm gonna completely forget about it. And goddamn, that was true. So I charged, one of them didn't charge, but the other 3 did.
Yeah.
And there were so many cool old photos I've just completely forgotten about. A lot of interesting notes, but the most important thing was the music. And that's why I texted you like the Yakuza gifs of the karaoke nights and shit like that.
Yeah, that I could barely make out because you sent them in maybe the worst quality. Like you maybe sent
it's
3
the provider.
pixel gifs.
It's the data provider.
Yeah, we use WhatsApp to send photos.
I always forget you have WhatsApp.
I literally send you photos of Lonzo constantly.
But it was wild, man. Like some of the songs I was coming across, I like completely forgot about them.
Yeah?
Completely. And that's why I was glad I did, and that's why I was up till like 3:30 in the morning. I didn't make it till 4 because I know Adam gets up at 4, and I was gonna text him like wakey wakey.
That would have really threw him off.
Yeah, that really would have, but I didn't make it that far. But like 3:30 is when
That's
I
fair.
kind of just tapped out and slept with my cat. But that was a wild night last night, just me and myself and a few old
With
mobile
some headphones
phones.
on?
Yeah, surprisingly the AirPods worked on these old pieces of shit. Like one of them was a freaking iPhone 4, dude.
It's Bluetooth.
Yeah, I know, but I was just like, the iPhone 4 was like this big.
Yeah, right?
How the fuck did my fat fingers type on that thing?
I don't know.
It is wild, but that was the highlight.
A good night.
That was a wild night. I love that shit. Nori had to listen, like just sit there, listen to me, just shout
sure
lyrics. She had to. She didn't have a fucking choice.
When I listen to music loud, Pearl loses it.
Yeah?
She just gets beans and sprints around the house.
Oh wow.
Yeah, she gets terrified whenever I listen to music loud.
Interesting. Yeah. Nori just gets her ears up and she just stares at me. She don't get the beans. But unless Bumper Car comes on, you know, everyone's a Bumper Car, you know?
Bumper Car.
Love
We
that
got to
shit.
listen to Bumper Car.
Yeah,
It's been a bit.
That's our new intro.
But we will get into basketball because there's a few things to talk about.
Yep.
Did you get time to watch much basketball this week?
This week, because I've been so busy with work, I've watched mainly highlights.
Mm-hmm.
I have 0 drama updates for you, unfortunately.
Good. Let's actually talk about actual basketball.
Look,
ones.
it's going to be the Bulls mainly in your court, pun intended.
Yep.
So you're going to lead the way this
I
week?
will. I will. I realize that I can check box scores at work and they're not blocked. So,
What do you mean?
like on the work computers, like behind the desk, we've got the computers, and I will just have a box score up.
No, I do the same thing. Yeah.
I never realized it could before. And like because at my work, I've been there for 5 months. For those who know, I work at a fashion store in Adelaide called Subtype. We've been open for just over 5 months now, and I've never talked basketball, right? Because no one else there gives a shit
Really?
about
Okay.
basketball. So I never talk basketball. We get the box score up, and I'm like, April, it's the end of the first, and Dame hasn't scored. What's happening? And she's like, yeah.
Oh, shit.
I just hit him
love
with like
that.
the conversations where you need to know and they just don't know, and they're gonna get sick of me real fucking quick.
I love that. It's like when you talk shit to your cat. They don't
Yeah.
know how to respond. That's, yeah. You mention shit like that to your boss. They're not going to know how to respond. I love that.
No, they have
I
no
love that.
fucking clue. But I've been watching box scores and watching highlights and like watching games on my lunch break. And there is a game I really wanted to go over, is what some people considering, and myself, is a potential finals matchup. Is happened earlier in the week, Golden State versus Brooklyn.
Mm-hmm.
Did you watch any of that game?
I did. Loved it.
Wow. Like the first half was very close. Second half, not as much.
Mm-hmm.
But
There's a lot to touch on
there's so much.
with both of these teams, and
Yeah.
specifically this matchup. I don't see Brooklyn making it to the finals personally.
They're a contender. They're
Oh,
potential.
absolutely.
Yeah.
They're top 4 in the East.
They might not be my pick right now, but they're a potential. They're a contender.
Yeah, absolutely. I just feel like they have too many holes in their
Right
game.
now,
Like when
yeah.
we talk about a lot of, and I'm like, I'm obviously going to praise them shortly, but when we talk about a lot of these championship teams and finals contender teams, they're phenomenal two-way teams. They always are. There's never really been a team that I'm familiar with that's solely been run and gun offense, shoot the ball offense, and that's it. That's it. Because like you people love to refer to this Golden State dynasty as all they did was shoot. No, they're the best defense in the damn freaking league.
Yeah.
By a mile.
Yeah.
You know, they like when we talk about this Phoenix team recently, this Miami team recently, they all had shooters, they all had great playmakers. You had Chris Paul, you had your Tyler Herro, you Duncan Robinson, if I'm just mixing the two teams. But the defense of both those teams were so damn good. And I just don't see that with Brooklyn.
Yeah.
And it's just because of their personnel. They don't have it. They got a bunch of
100%.
old guys and a bunch of guys that don't play defense.
Yep.
You know, that's kind of the curse you got with your phenomenal offense on paper.
Yeah, they literally put all their points into offense.
Even without Kyrie Irving, right?
Yeah.
You've still got guys which can space the floor. Like Joe Harris is one of the best three-point
Their
shooters.
spacing
we've
is
seen.
immaculate. Their
Yeah.
passing is immaculate, but their defense it will struggle because of that. And we'll see. Yeah, you're right. Like we'll see how that goes long term. There's not many championship teams or teams that make it to the finals with bad defense or average defense.
That's right. Like even average, it's like you probably won't make it based on
100%.
average defense.
You got to
'cause-
be good on both ends.
Absolutely. Because it's just better offense is always going to be better defense, but a really good defense is going to slow down. Like we just saw in this matchup, Draymond Green guard KD.
Wow.
KD didn't score.
Yeah, in that second half, he clamped him to all shit.
And I swear to God, I've never seen that before.
never.
I've never seen anyone body KD like that.
Yeah,
And Steve Kerr said it best, like, you cannot ask for anything more.
100%.
From Draymond Green.
Make that man inefficient, your job is done.
You know what's wild? This is the regular season.
Yeah.
This regular season.
I feel like
Draymond.
they just had a point to prove. Like Draymond said, I'm a clamp you.
I'm
You're the
gonna-
homie, I'm a clamp you. You know
Out
what
of
I mean?
respect, right?
Yeah, 100%.
I love that. But like historically, you know, Draymond Green just does not give a shit during
During the regular season. He says it. Like he doesn't care. He plays himself into shape halfway through towards the end of the season, gets in great shape.
And you love the honesty. And if this is, I'm just going to get a random glimpse of what I'm going to get in the playoffs from Draymond because they guaranteed to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Because if he can clamp KD,
He can clamp anyone.
Everyone.
Anyone. 100%.
Everyone. And then you've got Clay will be back hopefully by then.
Yeah.
You've got Jordan Poole, who's going to be better by then.
Yeah.
You've got Steph Curry, who, oh my God.
We're going to get to him. We're going to get to him because I want to talk about the Cavs
God.
game that happened yesterday as well. But
Why'd you bring up this team first then?
Because this was on my notes from earlier in the week.
right.
And I don't want to skip out stuff that happened earlier in the week.
I feel like you're blue balling me a bit.
No, we'll get into Steph in just a moment. But this matchup was a potential finals matchup. But Golden State especially in the second half, really showed they're the big dick dogs. You know what I mean?
Big dick dogs, yeah.
Like in a game where Harden didn't play great, KD got clamped for the second half. Golden State as a team just played exceptional.
Yeah, we didn't even touch on Wiggins. Like, they're
No.
deep again.
Yeah, they're deep.
Like, how the hell did that happen?
Look, I feel like this is the way Wiggins has always played. He's just like not getting the defensive pressure that he used to. Because he's always been a great cutter.
Look,
right? He's never been a number 1 or number 2 option, but he's always been an incredible cutter and a good spot up shooter. And now that's all he needs to do in Golden State. So he looks incredible.
And his defense
His
leveled
defense
up,
great.
which
Yeah.
is fantastic. And I think that's the thing. And I guess touching on one of our earlier pods this season when I was talking about like just player personalities and how it changes a team. You put Wiggins on any other team, he ain't going to play defense. You put a Wiggins on a team with Draymond Green, he's going to play defense because Draymond's going to eat that ass.
They're
in
a winning
bad
team.
way.
This is the only winning team he's ever been on.
Yeah. Yep. And it's wild to see where Wiggins has come as well because he was the number 1 option in Minnesota. You know, shouldn't have been, but didn't have a choice.
And then he was the number 2 and then number 3.
Yeah, and then God, go on because I was going to talk about Minnesota real quick, but I don't want to.
I don't want to. So was there anything I was going to touch on for the Brooklyn Golden State game apart from Golden
The
State?
one thing I did want to touch on with Brooklyn is it does appear James Harden is coming back into form.
Slowly. Yeah.
Like he's had some really high scoring games. He's had some triple doubles. He's looking better. You know, he still doesn't look like the crazy thing is like he can score 37 points and get a triple double and still not look right. And that's a crazy scary thing because if you start getting James Harden into form, all of a sudden, like I completely forgot Kyrie Irving existed.
Yeah.
Because these two dudes on the court, KD and James Harden, are just leading the charge. And like, because we saw what James Harden did by himself. We saw what KD can potentially do by himself and has been doing for a little bit so far in Brooklyn. And then you surround them with vets and a great supporting cast. You don't need a third option, like a guaranteed third option.
If they can at least share the load leading up to the playoffs and not get exhausted, they could still do it. They're still a contender based off those 2 players alone. 2 MVPs, 2 scoring champs.
Yep.
Look, it sucks that Kyrie's out for them, but fuck Kyrie.
But even with like James Harden, if I prefer him as a more dominant ball handler, not having to share the ball time with Kyrie because Kyrie's not a facilitator.
No.
James Harden's a phenomenal facilitator.
Correct.
He's a phenomenal scorer.
Yep.
You know, he does everything that Kyrie does, but more.
Yeah,
You
but
know?
the only thing is, if Kyrie does have the ball in his hands, Harden's a really good off-ball player, so it could allow him that. But
you know what I'm worried about, and this is just me personally. I don't have any stats to back it up, but some players I want learning to be off ball later in their career. I don't want James Harden off ball. I feel like part of where we see James Harden struggle is where he's not allowed to be James Harden.
yeah,
And he's getting old. He's getting up there, and he can still. He's never been quick. He's never been agile. He's never been athletic. Compared to these guards that I'm seeing for the past 10, 20 years.
he has a great change of pace, but he's not in the upper percentile of athletics.
I'm never going to put change of pace and agility and stuff like that. That's a whole different thing.
Yeah.
His ball handling is insane.
You don't classify change of pace and agility as the same thing?
No.
Interesting. To me, they're similar.
Okay. I just think James Harden's basketball IQ with the ball in his hands is second to none.
Okay.
With his size and his lack of physical talent is just insane. And obviously, when I say lack of physical talent, I'm not if I'm comparing him to guys in the 80s and the 90s, boy, is wild. Yeah, but I'm comparing him to second string guys that are just athletic fucking
Like
freaks.
Kuminga, Jalen Green,
Right.
LeBron,
Like,
the freaks. Precious Achua.
The league is a league. The NBA is a league where you have to compare, and if I'm comparing him to athletic guards, he's not athletic.
No.
But the shit he does that doesn't need athleticism is just wild. And he's like Chris Paul's the same damn thing.
Yeah.
Chris Paul was not athletic. I've never seen that man dunk the ball.
No.
Steve Nash was not athletic. That boy couldn't dunk the ball. You know, there are these guards that just aren't overly athletic, but with the ball in their hands, they are unlike anyone else. And James Harden's one of those guys. Whether you like him or not, like I'm not a fan of his play style with the foul baiting, and he's still trying, and it's not going to work. But some of the shit he comes up with, he's so innovative.
So you prefer, even later in his career, him being the primary ball handler constantly and not playing him as much off ball?
He can be no, I'm not saying his Chris Paul level IQ, but he is that crafty with the ball, in my opinion.
No, I get you. I get you.
And I feel like if you stick him to a position where it's just, all right, we're gonna have you in the, like a PJ Tucker, I just feel like it's a lot of wasted talent.
I get you.
He's just phenomenal dribble skills, phenomenal IQ with the ball. I want to see that continue.
He's a creator.
Because I feel like if you the longer you take him away, he's someone which historically it takes him time to get into the flow throughout the season, and the longer you have him, without the ball in his hands, the longer it's going to take him to get hot.
I get you. I get you. That does make sense.
Yep.
We won't touch too much more on Brooklyn because it feels like we end up talking about him every week. But there is someone we talk about every week, but I want to keep talking about him.
Yep.
I think the out-and-out favorite to be MVP, Steph Curry.
Yep. Hands down.
So if you didn't watch the Brooklyn game, he's incredible. If you didn't watch the Cleveland game, go watch that fucking Cleveland game. Go watch the fourth fucking quarter. He either scored or created, I think it was 22 straight points for his team. Was it 33? Something like that. I don't
recall.
It's fucking credible. And he's playing incredible defense.
Yeah, they've really got everybody on board on that team. Like, I was listening to, I can't remember who it was. Someone was playing with Michael Jordan, and someone was playing with another, Hall of Fame scoring guard, and it was like, how difficult is it to sell someone on something? The most recent one was Al Harrington had to convince LeBron James to buy into the head coach when they were on the Cavs together.
Al Harrington was on the Cavs?
Yeah, he was on the Cavs for a bit, I believe.
I had no knowledge
and
of
that. It was like trying to get LeBron to buy into stuff is difficult. Trying to get players to buy into stuff. But if you can get LeBron to buy into something,
you can get
everyone else buys into stuff. And this whole damn squad, the only thing I can think of is like everyone believes they can win the championship.
Yeah.
But everyone doesn't think it's easy. Everyone knows it's hard work. They look like they're busting their ass every night. And that's why they're number one.
Yeah.
They went 9-1.
They're the best offensive team. They're the best defensive team.
Again.
It's
insane. Like, they've really proven that, like, we got 72-9 without KD.
We're gonna do it again.
We're gonna do it again, man. We're on pace for it. It's insane. Like, Steph Curry has shown zero signs of, he's mid-30s, zero signs of aging.
This could be his peak.
Like,
he's playing better. I feel like he's playing better now than he was in 2016.
I am more shook by what I'm seeing this year.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm with you.
100%.
And I keep, like, it's not even an age thing. I keep forgetting he's old. It's just like, I see him play and I'm like, damn, it's just everything he's doing.
I forget he's old. He was on the Warriors when Melo was on the Nuggets.
Yep.
That's fucking weird.
Yeah, it took Steph Curry a while to really bloom. There was the Monte Ellis thing.
Injuries and this, that, and the third.
But no, what I'm seeing now, this is the most explosive season from Curry I've seen.
How do you have a second peak? Not many players in NBA history.
It was like Grant Hill.
There's 4 NBA players. I'd say there's 4 players in NBA history who have a second peak where they could have won an MVP.
Hit me with them.
MJ?
Yep.
Kobe?
Yeah.
LeBron?
Yeah, every year.
Steph?
Yeah. You specifically MVP?
Like, they could be the best player in the league as their first peak and their second peak.
Yeah.
And I'm not just talking about like Grant Hill coming back from injury. I mean, like, you were MVP in your first peak and you could be MVP in your second peak.
Yeah. God, it's exactly what we're seeing from Steph, and it's insane. Like, we're not seeing any other player in the league put the ball in the basket like Steph Curry's doing.
No.
I'm not even talking about shooting. It's just like, he looks like a fucking killer.
He looks unstoppable.
Unstoppable. I don't know how you stop Steph.
We talk about if you're guarding KD, your goal is to make him inefficient. Now it's the same thing with Steph. It's, you can't stop him scoring.
You got the one guy in the league that can guard KD, and he happens to play with Steph.
Right?
You've got the winning ticket.
And do you
there.
remember, like last season, people were like, oh, they should trade Draymond.
Yeah, they were real quick to say we should trade Draymond.
Draymond isn't a floor raiser, but he's a fucking ceiling raiser.
Yep.
And we've been longtime fans of Draymond. We've been his biggest supporters for a long time. Is when he can elevate teams. When teams are playing well, he elevates them to another level. But he can't make a bad team a good team.
Yeah, no, he can't. You're going to put him on Orlando? Nah, he ain't shit getting done there.
No. But if you put Draymond on Milwaukee.
Put him on Milwaukee. Put him on Miami.
Yeah.
Put him in Brooklyn.
Put him anywhere. Yeah.
Like, he solves the defensive issues instantly. Everyone's
team.
playing defense in
team.
Brooklyn.
100%.
You know, but there's only so great you can make Cole Anthony and Jalen Suggs, you know? Only so great they're going to get. But, yeah, the fact that they've got...
Cole Anthony.
I love Cole Anthony, but, you know, he's not going to win a chip. But, like, you got Steph Curry. You got Draymond Green, the best defender, best scorer. You've got one of the best sixth men in Jordan Poole.
Mm-hmm. You've got the young glove who looks like an absolute talent.
He's a bulldog.
Yeah.
As soon as that dude comes off the bench, it's mine.
Yeah.
I love it. I love GP the second. Love him. And we, like I said, again and again and again, we haven't even touched on Clay.
No, Clay ain't back yet.
He ain't back, and they were 9-1 in their last 10 games, like 13-1 or 13-2 or something.
And the front office continues to make smart decisions. They grabbed a very underrated player, Bielitsa.
Oh yeah,
Like no one knew who Bielitsa was before, right? Yeah. I knew him because he's a stretch four who can pass. What do the Warriors love? Stretch big men who can pass.
The Warriors are such a funny team because they've never needed a phenomenal big man. Like, and I know you, for whatever reason, you hate me bringing him up, but like you look at back to some of their early success, and that was with, you know, David West.
Yeah.
Not overly talented.
No.
David Lee.
Yeah.
Not overly talented. Great. Like
Bogut during the tail end of his career.
They just had guys that did kind of two things really well.
Can you defend? Can you pass?
Can you defend? Can you pass? Can you rebound?
Yeah.
Do two of those three things, and we can make it work.
If you can shoot as well, that's a great bonus.
Which is why I was never a big fan of the Wiseman pick, because it just felt like Wiseman's skill set.
That was best available.
It was best available, but they haven't done anything with it yet.
They got to flip him.
They have to flip him.
For his sake as well. For his path, he needs to go somewhere else.
Yeah. But I was like, it felt like if it was a situation like an alternate reality, because I agree with you, it was best available pick. But it just felt like if it was a situation where you're trying to draft for best fit, historically with this dynasty, he's too talented of a big man to fit what they need.
Yeah. He's going to need the ball in his hand. He's going to need like time to develop on court.
Yeah.
Remember that was a weird point where they had D'Lo as well.
Yeah. D'Lo, yeah. So D'Lo got flipped for Andrew Wiggins. And even me, when that happened, I was like, man, when are they getting rid of Andrew Wiggins? This feels like a shit trade.
Yeah.
And damn, they're clever.
Out.
They know shit that we don't know. Wiggins worked out perfectly.
And in my head, like I'm a big D'Lo fan, and I was like, oh, his time of the Warriors wasn't that great. That was statistically his best season.
Yeah. Yep. He had a great season in Brooklyn, great season in Golden State, and having a rough time in Minnesota, man. The Minnesota fans right now are starting to turn on D'Lo.
Look.
Yeah. It sucks. I
think he's the best player on that team, but that's neither here nor there.
Better than Anthony Edwards?
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
All right.
He's an all-star.
Anthony Edwards is, yeah.
No, D'Lo.
I mean, not anymore. Never
He's
again.
been an all-star.
He's been. All right. I don't move on to your next topic because I don't want to talk about Minnesota.
But yeah, Golden State's incredible. Steph looks like the
again.
MVP. He was one of my picks. I think he was your pick.
He's my pick, yeah.
And there's a clear top three. It's Steph, KD, and Jokic, and it's not even fucking close.
Yeah.
Like Jokic had a like statistically all-time great season last season. He's having a better season this season.
And it goes to show how wild Steph is having because I don't put them close together at all.
No. It's Steph, KD, and Jokic.
Really? I have Steph, Jokic, KD.
Fair?
Because I think...
to me, they're like...
Okay.
Steph's here.
Yeah.
KD and Jokic pretty much to me are... You know what? I'm going to say they're at the same level.
That's fair.
But...
I'm not going to argue with that.
We'll move on to the next topic. It was a player I mentioned a bit earlier, Damian Lillard. We have to tell. I don't want to rant about Portland because we do that a lot and we're sick of them. But what's happening with Dame? I mentioned before when I was talking about watching the box scores at work, that wasn't a fake thing. It was the end of the first against the Bulls and Dame hadn't scored.
I think it's a transition thing with two things. It's Billups. You know, obviously he's a point guard centric, focused head coach, first time head coach. There's a lot going on. There's a lot riding on this, and trying not to stir the pot too much, but also trying to make the necessary changes is a hard thing to do. You know, and it's especially hard when you've got a team which has been playing under Stotts for 9 years, the same fucking way every year.
It's true.
And I was thinking about just players and athletes in general that, like, it's hard to break stigmas. It's hard to break personality traits. It's hard to break rhythm.
The mental game.
It's the mental game. And this team has played a certain way for so long. And I think I assume Billups, being the clever man that he is, understands that you can't just flip it on its head and say, we're not doing this anymore, we're getting rid of it. You have to phase it out and make small implementive changes to the scheme. And I think that mixed with the rule changes offensively, because we know Dame has played similar to Trey and Harden in the past. He is very guilty of that. And I think the fact that he now has to adjust his game to that
in two different ways.
In two different
coaching
ways.
staff and with the rule changes.
It just impacts a lot.
So you're saying it's teething issues?
I do think it's teething issues. I you know, regardless of how bad Dame starts, I always think it's still is fucking Damian Lillard.
Yeah, he
I'm
can
not
turn it
dating
on.
Damian Lillard, but I've always been a critic. I've never said he's an efficient scorer.
No, he's a high volume scorer, but he's
volume.
never an efficient. Like he's probably had a season or two, but like he's not one of those crazy efficient scorers. High volume.
Like he goes, it's up and down. He'll go 7 from 10, and he'll go 0 from 12.
Yeah,
and it kind of balances out by the end of the year. You see, oh, he's 40% from 3, but a lot of games aren't consistent, and I think like CJ works because he is consistent. He's always going to get you 20 to 30 points a game of good efficiency. He's a good, efficient scorer with high effort. Not a great defensive player, but it's high effort, and he understands how he needs to play with Dame. But it's still not enough because Dame has holes in his game. And he's not a phenomenal facilitator. He's a great facilitator, but I don't put him up there with James Harden.
he's not at that upper echelon.
He's not the upper echelon.
He's not an all-round point guard. He's a scorer.
He's first and foremost a scorer.
Yeah.
Not a defender, not a great passer. Just doesn't do a lot off ball. He's not no Steph Curry, not no Reggie Miller. So it really puts on everyone, including Chauncey Billups, to really figure out how the hell do I make this work with these new changes. And I think that's why we're seeing this
Teething issues.
really bad teething issue specifically from Damian Lillard.
Okay.
That's just my opinion on the situation.
Look, you might be right because I literally didn't have a single, like I couldn't I didn't have a thought on why it is.
Oh, you wrote the topic anyway.
I literally wrote the topic. I'm like, I have no fucking clue why Dame is doo-doo.
Oh, goddamn. All right. I guess good thing I like to ramble.
Yeah, 100%. Like, I was like, I have no fucking clue why Dame is doo-doo.
Yeah, no, it's...
I wrote in my notes, all right, Dame had all his skill points reset.
Look, it's... I saw that, yeah. It's a thing as well, when you look at Dame's career, he never starts the season off hot. You know, there are some players, you know, that start off hot and then they fizzle out. You know, your Harrison Barnes, your Kristaps Porzingis, those kind of players. And you think for a second, wow, this going to be something. And then they're not something. They're just Harrison Barnes
Because
and
they know,
Kristaps Porzingis.
because some of the best players know it's a marathon, not a race.
Yes. Whereas, and that's what Damian Lillard is. He picks it up. He'll start
running
averaging
out of time.
25 to 28 points. This, I mean, in my opinion, this team's done already.
Yeah.
It's done. They've made a head coaching change. They're starting to accept change, and they will make change. And this team isn't gonna stick together. Nurkic is no longer the enforcer and the game changer that he appeared to be.
3 years ago, he was great, but he's definitely gone downhill since then.
If I'm thinking of a way, if I want consistency on my team, I'm getting CJ. But if I want someone which is gonna raise my floor, I'm getting Dame. You know, they've got so many pieces that they can chip off and help so many different teams.
Yeah.
And I think it's potentially a good thing that Dame's having a bad thing for Portland, like a bad stretch, because it kind of forces other GMs around the league to say, okay, if Damian Lillard is legitimately struggling and we've got a small window,
They might have a fire sale.
do we want to go for a CJ McCollum who we know is already consistent? Do we want to go for a Nurkic if we just need a consistent big man like a Capella? You know, granted, like Capella's much better, but it forces other teams to think about other options.
Yeah, I get you.
If Dame's going to be playing pretty bad,
It doesn't lock because when Dame was at his best, it says, well, you can't trade Dame.
Yep.
It locks Portland into Dame, right?
Yep.
But if Dame's not working right now, they could flip him. And honestly, in my head, if I'm a Portland fan, I kind of want to blow it up.
Yeah, it's a weird situation with Damian Lillard because Dame's also not really handled the situation as well as I'd hoped. And here's the thing, okay, so recently there was an article posted about Damian Lillard. Someone very close to Damian Lillard has always been there since the start of his career, just is a source for Damian Lillard's stuff. And apparently some years ago he met up with LeBron James and Anthony Davis, Damian Lillard, that is, and had a one-on-one discussion about what it would be like to play together. Granted, LeBron and AD were already playing together at this point. So it was relatively recent, 2 years ago, I think it was. And Dame stayed. All right, Dame stayed. And there are two ways to look at it. Initially, what's the first way you look at that?
As in their conversation?
As you read this article and you find out Damian Lillard met up with LeBron James and Anthony Davis to talk about playing together. What's your first thought?
He's had thoughts about, but he's committed.
Okay. Yep.
He's had this illusions of grandeur, and he said, "No, I'm going to try to do it my way."
So that's one half to look at it. The other half is he's thinking about leaving.
Yeah,
You know,
because he wouldn't have even thought about that conversation if there wasn't something in the back of his head that says,
exactly.
maybe I don't want to be here forever.
Exactly. And I feel like the intent of this article was to say the first thing you said, which was, no, he is committed. He could have played with LeBron James and Anthony Davis. He chose to play for Portland, a subpar team currently. But then the other part of this, like you said as well, there's obviously something if he was willing to meet up and talk about playing with other players. And I don't feel like that's the part that's handled poorly. You know, Damian Lillard should be, if his intent is to stay and lure other players in, you shouldn't give people any kind of insight into you wanting to play elsewhere.
Yeah.
Because right now, no one wants to play for Portland because they don't even know if you're going to be there.
Yeah.
People don't want to play with CJ. People don't play with Nurk. They're great players. I love them both. But people want to play with Dame.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you're going to be there. It seems like you don't know if you're going to be there, you know? And I know the point of the article and the point of what you're saying is to say, no, hey, look, I'm committed. But the fact that you were contemplating that at one point...
There was still an inkling. There was still
it's
something.
It's that seed of thought. Now it's like, I don't know. You're here, you're here for now.
Yeah.
But not for later.
But not for later.
Potentially.
No, I get you. Paul, we've said it for, it feels like we say this every couple months. Paul, they're in a weird spot.
They're always in a damn weird spot.
I think you just blow it up.
I think I'm sick of it because, at least there's some fun drama with some other teams. This isn't fun.
No.
I'm
just going to get you riled up. We're blowing it up.
I want you to blow it up.
We're blowing it up.
Blow it up.
See? I did it. Look. Fuck it. I'm sick of it.
I'm sick of it
they're
because
not going to win.
If the biggest change you make is Terry Stotts to Chauncey Billups, I don't give a shit.
And your roster gets worse every year?
I don't care. This isn't a better team. Chauncey Billups isn't going to be a phenomenal coach who's going to turn
No,
things
it's
around.
not like they got fucking Greg Popovich.
He's not,
you know what I mean?
He's not. He's not one of these, he's not a Rick Carlisle. I'd love to see Carlisle on this motherfucking team.
Yeah?
I'd love to see, the way he played Luka was so fun.
True.
And Dame and Luka play so similarly in terms of just putting the ball in the hole.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I feel like that would have worked. But Billups is an old school guy, which, played a certain way where they had certain bigs, certain wings, certain guards. And none of these players represent that. So, I mean, obviously he's learnt stuff from being under Tyronn Lue as an assistant coach, but I don't know, man. Like, none of this feels like it just fits. Like, when we were speaking about Brooklyn, it was like, it either doesn't have to fit when you got KD and James Harden in their prime, or it has to fit like your Golden State, where you've got, you know, guys like Wiggins, you've got Draymond Green, and then you've got your Steph Curry to carry the load. You know, shit fits, shit doesn't fit, and it can work both ways. This shit doesn't fit and doesn't work.
Yeah. So either if it doesn't fit, you have to have an all-time great.
Yeah.
Like an all-time great, and you don't.
You know those like cylinder things, and they've got the shapes on the lid, and you know, one's for triangle, one's for circle, one's for square.
Yeah, square peg in a round hole.
So putting the triangle through the triangle hole, circle through the circle hole, square through the square hole, that's Golden State. But when you flip the shapes on their sides, the triangle goes through the circle hole, the square goes through the circle hole. That's Brooklyn. It doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't need to work. You got so much talent. And then you've got the kid that eats glue in the back that just doesn't understand that. That's Portland. They keep trying to jam.
Look, that's not Portland. That's Sacramento.
They keep trying the same shit.
I know.
They keep trying the same. Like, I've never seen a team in my life that just keeps running it back. Let's run it back. Let's run it back. Let's run it back. Hey, don't try a different hole. This has to work.
Has to work.
This is a good looking shape. This is a good damn shape.
Man bets on the same losing horse every race.
That's a good looking hole.
Man goes bankrupt and says, "I believe in that horse." Literally, right?
Like, man, they gotta try something different.
I do want to talk about another bad team real quick.
Always, I love it.
I did mention a moment ago, Sacramento.
All right, what are we going to talk about with Sacktown?
Did you see the post-game interview with Tristan Thompson?
No, I saw your notes. So you texted me your notes, and you said something about Tristan Thompson, and then I flipped my phone down, and then I flipped it back up. I'm like, why are you mentioning Tristan Thompson?
So we would never normally mention Tristan Thompson.
Yeah, I'm so intrigued.
So he's playing for Sacramento currently, right? And he used to be an all right big, right? Decent mid-range shot, good rebounder, all right passer. Past that time in his career, more of a vet, this, that, and that. Playing for Sacramento, a young team. Sacramento went on a road stretch. They played against Orlando. They played against San Antonio, Minnesota, possibly Detroit. Like a bunch of the most bottom barrel teams. Houston, I think. And they played against some of the most bottom barrel teams, and they went 1-3. And then Tristan Thompson said, we're losing these have to win games.
Yep.
And he's like, we lost games against San Antonio where they've got 6 guys playing the same position and they're looking for a lottery pick in this upcoming season. He's like, we played against Houston where they've got young guys who are still figuring out and their team wants to tank. No offense to the guys that are playing, but the head office wants those losses. And he broke down every single game. He's like, here's why we should have won against this team that's clearly tanking. He pretty much said that in a post-game presser.
Yeah.
That we need to win these must-win games against these tanking teams, but we're not. So we need to figure this shit out because if we have another road stretch like this, the team is done.
Yeah.
And that was the most open and honest I've seen a player after a road stretch I've ever fucking seen.
Yeah.
He's like, I know how these front offices work. I've been in the league long enough. Like, it makes sense. Why would San Antonio don't want to win right now? They've got 6 guys playing the same position. They've got a power forward spot in the upcoming draft that's going to be open. And there's a good power forward. Like, he just was so open and honest. And I'm like, I need this. I need more players to be as open and honest and not give me that fucking like PC fucking answer. You know what I mean?
Oh, we just didn't play hard enough.
Oh, we just didn't play hard enough. We just needed to pick up on the defensive end. Tristan Thompson's like, yeah, like offense is going to come and go. Shots are going to fall. But if we're not picking up our ass on defense, we ain't going to win shit. Yeah. We need to beat these teams.
They do. And they're 6-8 right now. They're only 2 games below 500, if I recall. And all these teams right now, and it is always like this early season in the West especially, where there's only 1 to 2 games separating the two. Like, they're only 2 games behind Lakers, and they're looking worse and worse every time I freaking watch them.
Yeah.
You know, now's your opportunity. There's so many golden opportunities for Sacramento as a team to actually make a play-in spot or potentially the 8th seed. You know, De'Aaron Fox is having a bad season right now, and they're still up in there. Harrison Barnes is playing like peak Harrison Barnes. They need to capitalize on that. You know, Buddy Hield is, whilst he's coming off the bench, he's a fucking sniper still. You know, so many of these guys, they're if De'Aaron Fox can make it work and everyone else is buying in, then now's your time to gun and try and lower the morality of other teams that are trying to fight for this spot. You know, if I'm someone like a Memphis or a Lakers or a Clippers, and I know Clippers are a bit higher up than these other teams I'm mentioning, but if I'm down there with Sacramento, and out of all those teams, the one to rise is Sacramento, that kills my morality. That pisses me off if I'm an opposing team. Like, I'm the Lakers. I shouldn't be behind Sacramento. And that's a great thing if you're Sacramento. You know, you wanna light that fire onto other teams and hopefully dwindle that flame a little bit through time, through success. But they're not capitalizing on any of that.
No.
So many of these teams are struggling right now. And Sacramento, unfortunately, are just one of them when they were looking like potentially they weren't.
And there's just those must-win games that they lost.
Like, there's no reason you should leave to Detroit, Houston. I can't remember what
like
teams
Minnesota, San Antonio was one he definitely pointed out because like he's said they've got 5 guys who play the same position.
Like Sacramento, you know, you can talk all the shit you want about Sacramento as a team. I like the team. The team has talent.
I like one player on that team.
Like the team has I like a lot of these teams that don't have. Like, obviously, I like the teams with a standout player or two.
You don't like teams with good players.
And then I also like the teams that are it's just a fucking team, you know? And that's what Sacramento is. It's just a damn good team.
They're a team that love to lose.
And it's unfortunate because it just feels like the reason they lose is because not everyone is clicking at the right time. You know, when De'Aaron Fox was dropping 35 points a night, everyone else was playing like shit. And everyone else is playing good and De'Aaron Fox is playing like shit. Everyone needs to be playing well. Like, there is no team in history where they succeed where only someone's clicking.
Yeah.
Everyone has to click on this freaking team. And I feel like if this team's clicking, I'm not saying they're going to get bounced first round. I guarantee it if they ever make the playoffs. This is not a deadly team. It's not a scary team.
But if they make the playoffs, that is a big step for them.
The fact that they can make the playoffs, I feel like they can make the playoffs, whether it's through play-in or 8th seed. But if they keep playing like this, then no, absolutely not. The fact that other teams are struggling and you should not be struggling as much as them is a really bad sign.
You can't be losing to San Antonio.
You
and
can't
Minnesota.
be losing to Minnesota. I do think Minnesota's a better team.
Oh, yeah. But they're in a rough... This current Minnesota, they're struggling.
They're struggling right now with D'Lo's trying to figure it out. It looks like Cat's unhappy with Anthony Edwards.
And he's also just... Cat's not playing well.
Yeah, like there's a lot going on right now, but... That's the thing. Like, there's turmoil there. The Lakers are obviously playing like shit. Some of the Memphis have slightly dropped a little bit, despite Ja still playing really good.
Now's their time.
And
there's an opening in the clouds.
And they just look just as bad as everyone else.
So hopefully they get the shit together.
And I just don't see it. And I can understand Tristan Thompson's frustration.
Yeah.
You know, they should. You said it right. Like you said, they should be winning certain games.
Yeah.
And they're not.
You look on the calendar and there's gimmies. Right?
And there's not.
And they're not. So I don't want to dwell on them too much because there's not much to talk about with Sacramento.
Yeah, I mean, we don't talk about it.
You can rant about anything, but I don't want to talk about Sacramento.
Right.
I just wanted to mention that presser, which I think was a breath of fresh air.
It's super insightful because it allows you to talk in a team in a lot more depth.
There's my phone.
But look,
it's matching your phone.
You
You lost your phone in the first minute. And I'm like, at some point, he's going to pick it up.
You know what it was? Like, it fell. And you know when you kind of trip and you kind of make it look intentional?
Yeah.
Like, you're cool. I was like, yeah, I meant to do that.
Okay, well, luckily I know my last note.
Yeah.
I looked at the box score the other day for a New Orleans game.
Yeah. Why?
Because I was going through the box scores for every day I go through box scores, right?
I do the same.
Right? I'm at work. I'm getting paid for it.
That's true.
And I looked at the box score for New Orleans, and there was a name I didn't recognize. And a name that played 24 minutes. This guy's name was Herb Jones.
Who the fuck is Herb Jones?
And why did Herb Jones play 24 minutes for New Orleans?
Herb Jones isn't a basketball player. He's a science teacher. This
That's
is
a
science
milkman
teacher,
from the 60s.
right? Like that's I can see him with the freaking sideburns and he's lost his hairline, playing in shorts. Oh, that's Herb Jones going against Moses Malone.
Yeah.
Moses is going to have a field day.
No,
You
this
know?
man played 24 minutes for the 2021-2022 New Orleans Pelicans. I still don't know who it is. I haven't looked it up because I just think it's funny that between us, we pretty much know every player in the league, barring a couple rookies, and he might be a rookie.
Maybe.
That may be why we don't know him.
This team has so much youthful talent. Why are y'all playing Herb Jones? I don't know anything about a Herb Jones.
I don't want to know anything
Sounds-
about Herb Jones.
It just
24
sounds
minutes.
silly.
I saw that. And I'm like, I don't know who this guy is. And he played 24 minutes. I don't know if Melo plays 24 minutes for Lakers currently.
Like, no disrespect to Herb, but it's so worrying if you're New Orleans. Mr. Herb's playing 24 minutes.
Mr. Jones.
When you've got Nikhil Alexander-Walker, Jackson Hayes, you've got Zion eventually coming back. You got Brandon Ingram in the prime of his career right now, hopefully getting better and better. You've got so much youthful talent on this freaking squad.
And you're playing Herb
And you're
Jones.
playing Herb Jones.
I kind of want to look him up after this, just to see what position
I
he
hope
plays.
he started. I hope the PA announcer was like, number so-and-so, Herb Jones.
From parts unknown.
And even Ingram's like,
I don't remember seeing this guy at practice.
it's like when Neil Aquino was drafted and they spelt his name wrong on his jersey in training. Like they didn't even have a jersey ready for him. It's just like Jones is a generic name.
Yeah,
Like-
literally is a my player creator character. They just
Yeah.
went default.
He's probably some G League guy on a 2-way contract.
Why is he getting 24 minutes?
That's the scary thing.
He's got to be a rookie.
He has to be. I'm gonna look into it. Next episode, I'm gonna give you a review on Herb Jones.
Let's hopefully remember the start of next episode. Let's give a player breakdown on Herb Jones.
All right, breakdown on Herb Jones. If he turns out to actually highly recruited and we look like idiots, and it's like no wonder he's only playing 24 minutes. Oh, we should be
Supposed
starting.
to be getting 40.
Holy crap! You know he's up there with Jalen Suggs and whatnot. You know potentially we don't know.
Stop mentioning Suggs.
We don't know.
Stop mentioning Suggs.
Why?
He only mention
Look,
him when he does something.
If I don't talk about Orlando, no one does.
Good.
I'm doing it for the people.
What people?
The 4 Orlando people.
The Orlandios.
Orlandians.
The Orlandians.
I don't know what.
No one wants to talk about Orlando. Even Orlando fans don't want to talk about Orlando.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do.
What do they want to say? Yeah, the team's
Shout out to
disappointing.
Bamba. That's it. You know, if
Shout
I'm
out to Bamba.
if I'm an Orlando fan,
Facts.
if I'm an Orlando
Facts.
fan, I'm just talking about Bamba. I'm playing Sheck West.
Because he's playing?
I'm playing Sheck West. He's actually fucking playing now.
Yeah,
and you know what?
He's a double-double
You know,
machine.
yeah, double like a solid 10 and 10.
Yeah, solid 12 and 12.
Shit, that's high praise, dude.
I saw his stat line the other day. He was 12 and 12.
Look, I don't. Nah, you know what? I'm not doing it.
Okay, well, we're going to end it there.
I'm not going in depth on Orlando right
Good,
now.
because I would have just ended the pod.
I need a good 20 minutes, and I don't have 20 minutes.
I'm 100% just ending the pod, whether you're talking or not.
So in depth.
If you've made it through this far, thank you very, very much for listening. It's favorite part of our week every week. If you're watching us on YouTube, we also have like the audio version. If you're watching the audio version, we're also on YouTube. We are on pretty much every streaming thing possible: Spotify, Google Pod, Apple Pod, Anchor, Breaker, YouTube, Last FM, Nonstop Pop FM. We might be on the Fortnite radio stations.
That has a radio station?
If you've made it this far, thank you very much. We'll be back next week to talk more about basketball. Love you all. Bye.
You play Fortnite?